Welcome to the raw and uncensored Ambitchious Podcast. During our time here together, I will be instilling all of the strength, power, and determination you will need to use the very stones thrown at you to build your ultimate empire. We will redefine the word bitch from the derogatory to the acronym being in total control of herself. So let's adjust our crowns and prepare to live life ambitiously. Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking boy. And on today's episode of the Ambitchious Podcast, we're going into the third dimension. Y'all know I like to keep it high in the fifth dimension where we're always talking about our inside work. But today we're going to talk about the meat puppet. We're going to try to make the meat puppet as gorgeous as we possibly can, because I think, and I know that my guests will also agree, when you feel good on the outside, you look even better on the inside. So today's podcast guest is my good friend, anesthetics nurse. Her name is Katelyn Holston. She is the owner of Face Envy RX in Salem, New Hampshire. She's been a nurse for over 14 motherfucking years. I mean, that's a long fucking time. We're going to get down dirty and talk about that shit. She's also owned Face Envy RX for 3 years. So she's an entrepreneurial boss bitch. And she's been in aesthetics for over 5 years. And she lives in Pelham, New Hampshire with her hot piece of ass husband, Kurt, and her two beautiful girls, Callie and Kinley. They're 8 and 6 years old. So welcome, friend. Welcome, Katelyn.
Hey, girl.
Do you think that Kurt is just going to be like, oh
my God,
they call me hot?
Yeah.
He's fine.
Yeah. Sitting in his truck right now, drooling over himself.
I mean, that's what Matt Babine does too.
I can't wait.
We can't make their heads any bigger than they already are.
Huge. Cannot get out of his brand new truck right now. Cannot.
Need to pop it like a pin.
Right out the sunroof.
You're my top 5 favorite humans in the world, by the way.
I love you.
And I love you too. And you know why I love you a lot? Because first of all, we're literally the same human, but I'm Ebony and you're Ivory. Like I'm like the dark-haired bitch and you're the light-haired bitch.
Totally.
But we literally think the same. We act the same. We're freaks. That's why we get along.
I mean, yeah.
And Katelyn has also been an educator for the last couple months in Ambitchious Academy. So what we do is we record all these amazing educational videos about injectables and aesthetics for all of the girls. Because like I said before, if you feel good on the outside, I just think that you radiate even more self-esteem and self-confidence and just self-love when you look in the mirror and you're actually like what you see.
Correct.
And you can fix
100%.
anything.
Yeah, girl.
Caitlin's going to fix my weak chin. I have like a chin. I have like a Middle Ages, like English chin. I'm like, oh.
You think it's horrible. It's really not.
I know like I'm cute, but like the chin is real weak.
Cute is not even the word. Dope.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all. See, this is why I love her, because you go there and she puts needles in your face and then she tells you how beautiful you are.
It's my job.
Come on now.
See?
So let's talk about your career in nursing and how it kind of went into the aesthetics realm. And then I want you to really just bring the fire. I want you to educate all the ladies out there in Ambitchious land, because you know, I'm very open with what I've done to my face for the last, I don't know, a million years and counting. And I started getting like neurotoxins when I was really young.
Sure.
And everyone was like, you're fucking crazy. That's going to like, you don't know the long-term effects. But I say stop the wrinkles before they happen.
100%.
Oh my God, I love that I know these things. Because you teach me things.
Of course, you have to.
So I really want you to come with the education, which it will empower these women to be like, okay, maybe I was thinking about, you know, getting some neurotoxin in my forehead because my forehead looks like a pug's asshole and it bothers me. Right? Or like, you know, there's a lot of things that you tell me that you're like, yeah, that's not what you think it is. You have to use this instead, or I can do this. And like, you think you need to do this, but it's actually this. And it's just so amazing to know. And I know that Ambitchious is, you know, more of like a spiritual podcast, but at the end of the day, it's about loving yourself and looking in the mirror and like
self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about, you got into the nursing world 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy. Before the world shat its pants.
Right.
Before the world started.
Yes, literally. So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a nurse. I used to go around probably when I was 3-4 years old with my mom, who was also a nurse. She's now retired.
I love your mom, by the way. Shout out to your mom. Thank you for making her so we're not all ugly.
She's the cutest.
She is so funny.
She was a nurse for the state of Massachusetts.
Wow. Okay.
She retired after 44 years,
Damn.
I believe. But I used to go around with her and do med passes at like the little group homes.
Stop.
When I was 3 and 4 years old. So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to be a nurse.
Wow.
But I also had a passion for the beauty industry. So it wasn't until I obviously finished nursing school and all that kind of jazz that I realized I could combine those two passions. And that was thanks to my best friend, Jess, who pushed me.
So your friend Jess is the one that was like, you should do this as a living.
Yeah.
You should get into the aesthetic side of nursing.
Mm-hmm. She said, you can really do both of those things. And I kept saying, I don't know if I don't. How?
Because when you become a nurse, you think like, I have to work this shift work in a hospital.
You have to be at the bedside.
And that's
Everybody
not true.
thinks that you have to be at the bedside,
And there's so many nurses, as you know, and I'm sure a lot of your friends are leaving the medical world because they're just burnt to a crisp after the last 2 years that we've all endured.
Yeah.
Would you maybe to speak some victory into them? Like, would you say like, hey, you don't have to quit being a nurse. You can just do something different like you did.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think that there's obviously a time and a place for it.
Right.
And, there are a lot of nurses that are kind of trickling over into this field.
Right. But it's also not for everybody.
That's right. That's what I was kind of getting at.
I know. I read your mind.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, I think they can make quick money.
Yes.
And that might be the draw over, but that's not always.
Well, because that's what I hear. I have a lot of friends who are nurses and they're just like, yeah, I'm just going to go and start like, putting needles in people's faces because like my friend who's a nurse who's like makes all this bank. And I'm like, it's not that easy.
Yeah. It's not just needles in people's faces.
And you're also a teacher.
Yeah.
So this is what I think is so amazing about you. I mean, there's so many amazing things, but one of the greatest things is you actually teach for some of these large companies that create the product, which not a lot of injectable nurses can say that they do that.
Yeah.
So that means you're a horse of a different color.
That's right.
You really are.
Yeah.
So you were in nursing for this long, but before you were doing it with your mom. And then about 5 years ago, you were like, okay, I think that I actually, because that's how God speaks to you, right? God's like, a friend is like, hey, that would be kind of cool if you did this.
Yeah.
And then you can either listen or not. And you listened.
Yeah. I realized that, you can really kind of combine both your worlds and it exploded into this amazing opportunity.
So awesome.
At that time, I decided that I really did not want to have anybody else to work under.
Yes.
I wanted to do my own thing. I had, little kids that I wanted to be able to not miss any of their activities.
Make your own schedule.
I didn't want to miss holidays. I didn't want to work weekends and nights and all those things, although I do obviously work weekends, but I didn't want to, miss anything anymore.
Yes.
So I created Phase MBRX.
So how did you start like getting into it? Like, so walk me through the steps. So you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then did you have to find a doctor to work under? Like, how did you start learning how to do all this technique?
So you have to take certification courses first.
Yeah.
I happened to find a woman up in Hampton, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And I did a private course with her.
So you like paid her to teach, almost like a mentorship.
Correct.
Got it.
Yep. I paid her. She taught me how to do intro to neurotoxin and intro to dermal fillers. From there, it's almost like you're kicked out to the wolves.
They just mommy throws you out of the nest.
Yes, exactly. Learn to fly, bitch.
But this is why this is probably what. But like that's like that in so many different things, and everyone thinks like, oh, it's going to be so easy. Like after I learn how to do this thing, I'm going to have thousands of people banging down my door to like do this work, and like I'm just going to have this successful business. And you're like, no, especially when you come from working as a nurse, because you're not an entrepreneur when you're a nurse.
Hell no.
So it's totally two different worlds.
You sit there with your finger up your butt. You have no idea what to do. And you're petrified, right?
Right.
You're sticking needles in people's faces.
Uh-huh.
Like, I mean, you could drop their eyebrow. You could, make them blind. Their face can fall off.
Right. No
There's
shit.
so many horrible things that
And I love
happen.
that you say this because so many people in like your industry like will not speak like that. And I'm the kind of girl where it's like, tell me what the fuck is up.
Yeah.
Because I'll respect you a hell of a lot more.
Oh, yeah. I want people to know.
Yeah.
I want them
I
to
love
know.
that about you.
Yeah.
I love that about you.
And, we talk about this all the time. Education is huge. When you come and sit in my chair, I will educate you about something every single time you sit
Ridiculous. No, 100%. Like the first time I ever met you, you sat me down and you taught me shit that I was just like, my mouth was literally hanging down to my titties, which my titties like hang low. So it was like really fucking low. And I was just like, this is so, I had gotten, Botox, all these different things for so many years. And then what was happening to me is the person that was doing my Botox would just keep doing the Botox. And every time I would go to her, I'd say, dude, this is only lasting for like 6 weeks. And then my face looks like a Shar Pei's neck. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Whatever.
Add more.
And that's what she was doing. Oh yeah. And you know me, I'm a fucking sure thing. I'm like, whatever you need, like I'll pay. And then when I started going to you, because you're actually, the way that we met was through Amanda Greco, who's been on the podcast. She's my esthetician. And Amanda's like, I was telling her about it. And she's like, you have to go see my girl, Kate. Like she's the best. And I was kind of apprehensive at first because this is a very personal thing. Like, so when you're with an aesthetics nurse or a doctor or whomever that's doing all this stuff for you, you end up having like a rapport with them and you become close to them. They understand your face and shit. So I was like kind of scared, like, okay, what if this girl's like wackadoo or like she just puts a bunch of shit in or she's like wants just money and she doesn't really want to, or she's doing stuff to me that I don't really need. Cause this is what there is the dark side of this world. And when I came to you the first time, you literally sat me down and you went through why it's not working. You were talking about some protein shit. I was like, whoa, this girl's like blowing and we can talk about that in a second. This girl's blowing my mind. And you sat with me for like 45 minutes before you even touched my face.
Of course.
I was like, this girl is the one.
Yeah.
You are like Neo in Matrix. You are of the aesthetics world. Okay. So keep going. So, all right.
And actually, I met Amanda while I did my one-to-one training.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh, it all's full circle.
Yeah. So that's kind of how we ended up being together, too.
Okay.
So,
see,
the world's small.
Kismet.
Yeah.
It's like it's freaking meant to be. So, yes, you were saying about education is key.
Education's huge. The aesthetic world, for me, the way that I see it, is a lot of science, right? It's education, it's science, but it's also an art.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just everybody's face is different. Everybody's muscles do different things. Everybody animates differently. So every time I have a patient come in and sit in my chair, I take the time to look at their face.
Yes.
I'm not just walking in there with a loaded gun, ready to blast their face.
Yeah.
I make sure that I look at my patient.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what they need and what they don't need. Not everybody's coming in and getting 40 units put in their face, getting 4 syringes put in their face.
Yes.
Every single patient is different.
Mm-hmm.
You will not get the same treatment as somebody before you.
Yeah, I love that.
And I also don't let my patients dictate what they want and what product they want.
Okay.
You didn't go to school for this. I did.
I love it. Well, you yelled at me because I was like, my Botox. And you're like, Katie, it's not all Botox.
Right.
Botox is just one of the neurotoxin family, and every one of them are different. And I was like, what? I just thought everything was called Botox.
Correct.
I'm a fucking nincompoop.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know the difference, right? Because again, you're not educated by the provider that you go to.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. There are some really good providers.
Oh, of course.
And they will teach you things. But if they don't, how are you going to know?
Absolutely. 100%. Like I thought all filler was Juvederm. You're like, no. But no, like you said, no one educates you about this stuff.
Right.
And you kind of just rely on the person that's doing it for you. And I think that that's also something I learned. Like, I'm a fucking reckless bitch. Like, you're just letting people put needles into your face. You don't even know what they're putting into your face.
Right.
And you don't know why it's doing what it's doing. Like, I would say to you, why does everybody look like Planet of the Apes when they get so much filler or their lip turns up? And what do you say?
Well, it has to be the product placement, type of product, technique that they use.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into it.
And that's why people get scared of getting filler. They don't want to look crazy.
Yeah. But or they see something botched on TV, Sex in the City.
Exactly. Exactly. No, and
like that.
All of your people always look so amazing. And no one looks like, and I'm using my quotation fingers, but no one looks done. They just look like refreshed, like they went on a good vacation, they had some good sex, and they hydrated themselves, and then they just come back like a better version of themselves.
Yeah. I also really, I love this saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
I try to get patients to really come back in multiple sessions. And I find that that's helpful and useful because the tissues in the face, specifically in the lips, are super delicate.
Right.
So you don't want to overfill them and you don't want to cause tissue trauma.
Like the guy in England who was squeezing his face, he was injecting his own shit.
Yeah.
And it was pouring out of him.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And he was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you should care,
okay,
dude.
buddy.
Yeah. He wanted to like look like Kim Kardashian. But then that's the thing too. Do you ever have people come in and say like, I want to look like Angelina Jolie?
Yeah.
And you're like, honey, no,
expectations.
that ain't never going to happen.
Right.
But do you tell them that?
Of course.
Because I never come to you like that.
No. But I do have patients that will come in with,
pictures.
Unrealistic expectations, pictures that are not achievable pictures, right? Or like, oh, can you make my butt look like Kim K? Honey, her butt doesn't even look like Kim K. Like, let's be honest. I'm sure you've seen like the Khloe Kardashian, the hand picture where she looks like the crypt keeper.
What is that?
I don't know, but it's awful. It's not even her hand.
It's not even her hand.
It looks like she dyed some good American genes the wrong way. I don't know. Like,
I love
it's so gross.
It's so weird.
But like, let's be honest. There's a lot of body dysmorphic syndrome. There's a lot of, undiagnosed mental health sort of things. Like, and I'm not afraid to talk about that.
I was just going to ask you, like, do you have people come in who like you have mental illness or you have body dysmorphia and like, I can't treat you? Like, what do you do?
Of course. Yeah.
And I love that because you're nursing that, like, you're such a nursing background where you're like, I don't give a fuck. I tell people to go, pound sand every day when I was a nurse.
I think most of the time you would be surprised as to the things that I hear in the chair when I'm like, I feel like this is a therapist.
Yeah.
And we need more than just Botox and fillers here or any kind of...
Yeah, you need to go see a therapist. You need an exorcism. You need a healing session.
Yeah, you need... And then maybe you can come back for some treatment.
Or not.
Or maybe find someone else.
Exactly.
No, just kidding. But yeah, I don't have a fear of saying no to somebody.
I love that.
Definitely not. Safety is humongous for me. That's my business, right? And my business is my family, and my house, and all those things that I have to protect. So
exactly.
I definitely don't have a problem with saying no.
I love that because a lot of people are in it just for the money, and I'm the same way with my coaching. Like if someone comes to me and I'm like, they're not a good fit, I don't care how much money they're going to throw at me. I just know like, if I work with this person, it's going to bite me in the ass in the long run.
Right.
Or it's going to be miserable. And, you and I have both had backgrounds where we've done shit and been miserable for years. And like, I won't do it anymore. And I know that you won't either.
Yeah. I don't want to dread seeing a patient. Ooh. Who wants to do that?
Do you ever used to in your life when you were a nurse, right? You were working in a hospital when you knew like someone was in there for say a week and you're like, oh, go home.
I have to have them again. Yeah, of course. You're like, they're non-compliant anyway.
Yes.
They're not going to do this. They're not going to follow anything I say. Of course.
And you have the same shit in the aesthetic world where you tell someone, okay, so let's just talk about this. Before someone comes in, let's say for a filler.
Yep.
Are there protocols that they have to follow prior? So tell me some things.
Don't take any Motrin.
Don't drink.
You don't drink alcohol. Make sure you stay hydrated.
Yeah.
There's like a whole
you give them a litany,
of things
a list.
that were,
And how many people come in and that they smell like Johnny Walker?
Yeah. I just had,
a mimosa.
I just went out to drinks and had Taco Tuesday and tequila. I'm like,
awesome. And then they're coming in to get
lip filler.
Christ almighty.
And they'll sign a consent form and then they bleed and bruise.
And you're like, hello, I told you not to do this.
They're mad at me that you're
the bad guy. You're the bad guy. So we have very similar jobs, except you're working with filler and neurotoxin and I'm working with spirituality and motivational stuff.
My face is so bruised. Is it though? Really?
You are the epitome of ambitious, which I freaking love because you just say it like it is. And again, I respect that shit and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And listen, guys out there, if you're gonna go to Katelyn to get anything done, just know she is not that bitch. Do not step to her because she will tell you what is up. And you know what? I think that's the best way to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? In the long run, it just keeps you away from more problems.
Yeah. And it's safety for you, people.
Absolutely.
And it's safety for you.
And it's not, it's to cover your ass, but you care about your patients.
Of
So,
course.
you know, you don't want people looking like wild and being like, oh, Katelyn Holston of Face NVRX did this to me.
Yeah, well, exactly. So that's a really good point. The moment that you leave my office after I have touched your face,
Yes.
you become my walking billboard.
Right.
So if you leave with a jacked up, hobo looking, terrible troll face, and someone says, holy shit, where did you get that done? And you say Face MVRX, I just lost a potential customer.
Absolutely.
So I make sure that I give the very best in order to gain the very best.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into the education. So let's first start with neurotoxin.
Yeah.
And then we'll move on to like filler. And then we could just touch upon all the other things you do, because you do so many things, but your bread and butter, like what you're like most known for out of everything, is your neurotoxins and your filler.
Yeah, those are my favorites.
So, all right. So I came to you like looking like a pug's asshole. And I was like, what the fuck? I can't like, and that's the thing too, is like, I'm a rich bitch, so I can afford shit, but like, I don't want to be spending thousands of fucking dollars every like 2 months on so much Botox. Cause like, is it even fucking good for you after a while? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
It has the word toxin right in it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Okay. Let's throw that right there.
So when I came to you, you were like, okay, this is what's happening. This is what I use, and this is why I use it, and take it away.
Okay. So there are 4 different types of neurotoxins.
Okay.
Right? That's just the neurotoxin, neuromodulator, whatever the hell people want to call it nowadays. But everybody generalizes the group into Botox because that is the OG.
Yes.
Right?
Katie Boyd did it.
Yeah.
I said, okay, I just get some Botox in my face. I probably wasn't even getting fucking Botox.
Probably not. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe you had saline, for God's sake.
Oh my God. I was the worst patient before you.
And I remember asking you, do you know what you had put in your face for filler?
I was like, I don't know.
Mouth it down to the boobs again. No, I don't know. Katie, really?
And mind you, I'm 41 years old. I've been getting Botox since, neurotoxin since.
Here you go again.
25 years old. Well, you know what? I did start with Botox.
Right.
But then it's changed over the years because I think I've had like 4 different injectable, like started with a doctor, and then I had a couple of nurses. And I loved the nurses way more than the doctor. I think the doctor was more a surgeon and not so much like, and he just did it probably as something else he was offering. And then, and after that it was a blur.
And at that point, you didn't care what was put in.
I was just like,
probably J-Lo's olive oil.
Oh my God, Can we just talk about that for a second? Not to talk shit about J-Lo, but like,
I love her.
No, I love J-Lo too, but like, bitch, you're not just putting olive oil on your damn hair and face. Like, we all know that you're bald-headed. And we all know that you have had some work done. And just like fucking own it. See, this is the problem. And this is why
this is why body dysmorphic syndrome is around.
Yes.
This is why it's a problem.
Think about like when Kylie Jenner, fucking Kylie Jenner first got her.
No one could see the face.
I wish that you could just see the face that Caitlin just made. She's like, don't talk about that girl in my fucking presence. But do you remember when Kylie was like little and she had like inverted, like her mouth was like literally inside itself?
And like a top lip mustache?
Yes. Do you remember?
Chewbacca hairline?
Yes.
And now she's drop dead.
She's ridiculous. And that's the thing is like, when she first started getting lip filler, she lied to her people. And listen, I didn't make the rules. You're a fucking public figure. Young girls if you can sell out of your Kylie lip kit in 27 seconds, what do you think that the whole world is looking at you for? Especially young people. Right. So if you look like Bruce one day and the next day you're like, it's tough, but it's good. Yeah. If you look like Katelyn one day and then the next day you look like Kim.
Right.
There's a problem.
Kids were putting vacuum
Do you remember that?
To their face to try to get Kylie lips.
Stop this. Tell me more.
Or what was it called? They were like sucking bottles.
What? So they put their lips in the bottles?
So if you suck the bottle to your face, it would cause swelling around your lips.
I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. It was like a high school challenge.
But see, after a while, if you know about tissue, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't claim to play one on television, but after a while, if you keep stretching that skin in your mouth, you're going to look like a fucking Simpsons character.
Of course.
Like over the years. You're going to look like a quack. Yeah. You're going to look like Howard the Duck.
And probably act like a quack.
Jesus. But this is the problem with aesthetics, and this is why aesthetics get a bad name. And I'm sure people come for you all the time and like, all you care about is beauty and and all the shit. But it's like, if people would just be like, from day one, I have never lied to someone and said like, oh, I'm all natural. Like, I've had neurotoxin since I was 25. I've had filler under my eyes only once. I've had my lips done twice. And I had Kybella in my fucking neck, and that was the worst experience.
Bullfrog.
Oh my God. When they told me, like, you're going to look like a bullfrog, I was like, how bad can it be?
Yeah.
The pain, I've never experienced like any pain like that in my life.
Satan's piss in your neck.
Satan's piss was pissing all over my neck.
Yeah.
And then like other devils were coming and pitchforking my neck after he pissed in it. It was horrible.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But I actually documented like on fucking Facebook because I don't care, because I want to be so raw and real with people, because I don't want them to look at me and like, I have girlfriends that are my age that look at me and they're like, oh, but you don't have any wrinkles and all this shit. I'm like, bitch, I've been getting shit in my face since I was 25 years old. When you guys were all popping out kids and like drinking fucking bottles of Grey Goose before you went to bed, I was getting filler.
Yeah, laying in tanning beds with baby oil.
Those were the days.
We all thought it was so cool.
Oh, I loved it. I loved a good tan. I was very much Jersey Shore when I was growing up, though, too. Oh, I was so GTL.
Yeah.
But you're right about no, because you were like white.
Yeah.
You are cream.
I know.
You are cream colored.
Yeah, pure vanilla.
You really, that's why I'm saying we're ebony and ivory. It's like a thing. But you're right about that. The body dysmorphia. That's what hurts people. Just be fucking real. Just be raw and be real and be open. Like, I have fake lashes. Yeah, I have extensions. Yeah, I have my boobs done. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, if someone's going to judge you on that, it's not worth it.
Do you really want them to be in your life anyways? You know?
Exactly. I agree.
So you see this as like a big problem.
Huge problem.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that you say that too, because most people are like, it's not a problem like in your arena, but you know it is.
Oh yeah, mental health.
Wow.
In the aesthetic world is awful.
That's insane. Well, you see it on like Botched, where these people are like, I want to look like an alien from Pleiades.
A pixie fairy.
Oh my God.
Turn my nose up.
But who the fuck is doing this to people? That's what I want to know. They put cement in people's faces.
I think it's like the other countries that are
like South America's big time into that.
Because they're not so FDA regulated. Like we're strict FDA regulated, you know?
When people tell me like I just got a BBL in Dominican Republic, I want to punch them in the face.
They filled your butt with cocaine and you can't come back to the U.S.
Oh my God, that would be so fun.
Imagine.
An ass full of cocaine. I would love that on a Monday morning. Just a fucking ass full of cocaine.
Farting powder.
Tony Montana farts. Oh my God, dude. But I didn't know that the FDA regulated it more than other countries. I just thought it was like shady.
We have strict FDA regulations
when it comes to this kind of stuff.
But like China and stuff, their aesthetic world is so far advanced than we are. Yeah.
No way.
I feel like they're so far more advanced than we are.
Why do you think that is?
Because their regulations they get to experiment more. They're not as regulated as we are.
Odd.
Yeah.
Very odd. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, free for all. If you die on the table, it's your own fault.
Right. And they don't even know you anyway. They just throw you in a river somewhere.
Next. Bye.
Wow. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This is interesting. Okay. Sorry, I get
a little off topic.
No, because my ass is filled with cocaine. So I'm just like,
roll over, I need a bump.
Oh my God.
I can't.
I love you so much. All right. So with the neurotoxin.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 4 different types of neurotoxin. See, I'm following.
Oh, full circle.
Full circle.
Yep.
And what are they?
So there's Botox.
Yep.
Dysport, Juvo or Neurotoxin.
Yep.
Is what they call it. And then Xeomin.
And that's what I get.
Xeomin.
The Xeomin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then
not semen.
Not semen. I mean, I don't want any of that. Ugh. No, thank you.
Xeomin with an X.
Okay. Xeomin.
Yep.
And what's the difference between the Xeomin and like the other neurotoxins?
Essentially, the science behind it is that there is no carrier protein in it. So when it arrives to you, it's the only one that doesn't have to be refrigerated.
Okay.
You can store it in a shelf.
Yeah.
Right?
And then after you use it, you have to refrigerate it.
Once you reconstitute the bacteriostatic saline, that's when it has to go into the refrigerator.
Got it.
But when there is no need for the carrier protein, that's when it's essentially like more pure.
Understood.
Like that's what they call it. It's like the purest one of the toxin.
Right.
Such a catch-22.
I know.
It's a pure toxin.
Yeah, it's the best of the best.
Yeah. Sure. Okay.
Yep.
So it's essentially the same kind of toxin. However, you're not going to create those antibodies against it.
And this is what I was doing. This is what my
Correct.
face was doing.
This is what you were doing. You were creating antibodies against the Botox.
So every time I would get injected, my body would go into this, which is normal, right? That's what your body's supposed to do.
Yeah, you would create antibodies against the toxin, so you were fighting it off.
And every time I would get it, it would just get easier and easier and easier to get rid of.
Of course. So it would either not work at some point.
Yes.
Because you were getting it so frequently.
Right.
Right. Or you weren't creating the look that you wanted anymore. And your body was just saying, no, thank you. Mm-hmm.
I noticed too, when I was getting the other neurotoxin, whatever the fuck it was, my eyelids, because I have hooded eyes anyways, but my eyes were becoming so hooded. Like, I just felt like my fucking forehead was like Cro-Magnon. Like, I was like an old caveman, and my, like, you know, that ridged part of your eyebrow would just like sit on top of my eye. And I just started feeling like, like I wanted to beat Matt over the head and drag him into a cave and like have my way with him.
Yeah. So that's probably because you were going back to get more, and then you had too much in there.
Which is called chasing the product, right?
You got it. So you had too much in there in that group.
Yes.
And then the muscles were essentially too heavy.
Yeah.
Right?
And I was becoming Encino Man.
And then you were getting really heavy in that muscle group.
Yeah.
You couldn't lift up anymore. You had nothing left.
And so when you do my eyebrows, you actually, like, my eyebrows lift way high up in the air now.
Way high up.
Because you know I like to really enunciate my face when I'm making jokes.
Yeah, girl. We want those quotation marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me who would be like a great candidate for like a Xeomin.
Anyone.
Really?
Yeah.
So
you can swap over between products. So if you've had Botox, Dysport, or Jeuveau, you can switch over. If you're a neurotoxin virgin, it's great to start on that product.
Good.
Anybody, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've used the other products. It's not a big deal. There is a period called a washout period. So if you've been on the other 3 products and you've got to switch over to a Xeomin, that's fine. It might take a couple times for you to wash out those other 3 products.
Got it.
Right. So it might take up until the second time getting a Xeomin. So up until 6 months for you to wash out those other products.
You know, you just made
those antibodies.
You just made a really good point, because the first 2 times that I got injected by you, like, I got good results, but I was still like, oh shit. And then this last time was like incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now. Now, what about like age and stuff like that? Because a lot of people will be like 65 years old and they'll be like, I'm finally ready for Botox. And you're like, no, dude.
Newborn babies should get it. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
just kidding.
Like,
so
fuck it.
Push them out and send them to the clinic. No, just kidding.
I love you. We have a very sick fucking sense of humor here, guys. So if you can't handle it, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
And go on to the next podcast. Yeah, so I started, let's see, I don't know, I think I had my first one. Sorry, Mom, if you hear this, but I was probably 24.
Oh, wow. Okay, so probably around the same age as me. Mm-hmm. And everyone was talking so much shit to me. Like, all my older friends, or like, even like my mom and stuff, they were like, well, you're going to ruin your face.
Yes.
And it's actually the opposite.
And I did baby Botox, right? So essentially that's like
smidge.
Cutting it in half, cutting the total dose that somebody would normally get in half. And like, I don't even know if that's really a thing. Yeah. Right? But that's what they call it. It's baby Botox. So most people will get somewhere between, I don't know, 12 to 28 units in the glabella area, which is like those
right in the middle of the forehead, right? The 11s, when you make that mad face.
Yep. So between the eyebrows.
Yep.
And then the forehead, you can get somewhere between 12 to all the way up to 40 units.
Got it.
I don't ever put 40 units in there. I don't want to have to like put toothpicks to hold my eyebrows out.
Seriously.
But yeah, you can get that much in there.
Right.
You know, men can tolerate a little bit more.
Yeah. I told Matt he needs to go see you. Because in Mexico, he was like in the sun and he didn't have his sunglasses on and he just kept making that squinty face. Yeah. And I was like, when you get back, you're going to go see Kate.
Some Botox.
He needs Botox. And it's not fair because, you know, Matt's half black.
Yeah.
So like black really does not crack. Like he's 54 years old and he literally has like not a single real,
Nothing.
No. And just recently I've been noticing it a little bit and I was like, you got to get over there.
I can't wait.
Yeah. And he has like hollowness under his eyes. Right. I think it's just genetic, you know, because his birth mom You know, Matt was adopted.
Yeah.
His birth mom has that same under eye hollowness. I just think it's a genetic thing, but you can fix that stuff.
Oh, totally.
I'll just send him there for a full spa day.
Oh my God.
Send him back home, Dwayne "Rock" Johnson.
Want me to lift one eyebrow?
Yes, and he can be like, "Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?" Yes,
I can.
Please.
So cute.
So guys get Botox too,
Of course.
but they don't talk about it. Is it like
depends.
a hidden thing?
Botox.
All of my gay friends are like very open about it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, I get fucking everything. What are you talking about?
I think
get in my butthole."
it doesn't.
What the fuck?
Scrotox. Right?
I can't.
It's a
Do
real.
you really
it's
have
a
to
real thing.
tell me more about Scrotox?
No, it's a real thing.
Why do they get it in the scrotum?
To get the wrinkles out.
Do people get a wrinkly ball bag?
Well, ball bags are naturally.
I always thought that they were. I always thought the balls are always naturally wrinkly.
They are. So if you take the wrinkles out, it hangs lower.
Do you want hanging low balls? Did you ever see that movie Bad Grandpa?
It might be a little
Oh
better.
my God.
I'm not sure. I don't.
Did you ever see Bad Grandpa with
I
Johnny
haven't, but somebody else
Knoxville?
was just talking about
And
this
he goes to the strip club and he strips and he's old, you know, he's a grandpa, but they put like prosthetic balls on him and he's like, his balls are hanging out of like his underwear and they were hanging down on the ground. I think that they really do that. So does Scrotox help with this or no? Just makes them longer.
Longer. Oh my God. His would be like Santa's sack dragon.
Christ almighty. I cannot
full of presents.
Dude, you are blowing my fucking mind right now.
There's a lot of places.
There's a seat for every ass, as my grandmother would say. Wow.
For that ass, you probably need 2 seats.
Oh my God. One for your ass and one for your nuts.
Right.
My God, I cannot even. Inquiring minds want to know what Scrotox is here on the Ambitchious Podcast. Thank you for educating all my people.
You are so welcome.
Oy vey. Mm-hmm. Oy vey. My God. All right.
Yeah.
So boys can get Botox. We call it Botox.
Botox.
Then people can get Botox. Well, not Botox,
Neurotoxin.
But neurotoxin. See, there I go again. People can get neurotoxin for other reasons. It's not just like aesthetics, right? You can do it for like
medical.
Okay, so like one of my girlfriends was saying she gets it for TMJ.
Correct. Bruxism.
So
biting down, like people that bite down really hard, that muscle that you feel in the side of your jaw there, right? Like when you're chewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get it there. That helps for facial slimming is what I have.
I need that.
Yeah,
I need that.
It makes your face look much thinner.
So like Bethany Frankel had that because she has that really square jaw, and then she must have got that because now it's like super like it's a different face.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. It also helps with migraine treatment. Migraines there.
What about sweating?
Yeah.
Armpits, feet,
hands.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting.
Hyperhidrosis.
Okay.
Yes, you can put it in your armpits.
That's so interesting. Anywhere else you can put it, like clit tox or something? What do? You
can put it in your calf muscles to shrink down your calf muscles.
Oh, so if people got big old calves?
Yeah.
I wish I did. I have chicken legs.
You know, like women that have really big calves.
And they can't put in the boots.
High boots. Like come October.
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Get the neurotoxins in your calves. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Where's the craziest place people can get neurotoxin?
Girl, you can really put it in.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's not just for making the muscle stop the movement so it doesn't get more wrinkly.
Yeah.
It's also could be for like relaxing certain things so it's slim, like you said, it slims the face.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can do it like in your traps area. If you're
like one of those type of people. How interesting. Wow, this is so cool.
Wrinkling and across your
the décolleté. I need that, dude.
Yeah.
Because I have the biggest titties.
Yeah.
I have tiggle bitties.
Yeah.
And at night, because I sleep on my side, they just like
flop over each other.
It's like a quarter pounder with cheese. It's just like they just slam on each other. And then they just hang under my armpit.
I think we need to create something.
Oh, I have some and I'll show you later.
You have a titty swing?
I have a titty swing.
Sling.
It's a titty sling.
Not a swing.
No, it's a titty sling.
I want to see a titty swing.
I will show you both of those things after the podcast. But my oh my God,
this is the best day of my life.
Isn't it? My little massage therapist was this little Asian lady, and she was just like, "You have the biggest breasts I've ever seen." And I was like, "You want to motorboat them?" And she's like, "I have just the thing for you." And she
get lost.
Dude, she would die in there. She would fucking suffocate in 3.2 seconds. I mean, Matt is literally near death most days that we have sex. He's just like, I'm going to motorboat you. And then he's like,
have you guys seen that?
Oh, yeah. He's like full on oxygen machine after. Because, dude, they're big. And you know what's really fucked up? I used to make fun of my mom's tits. because they were so big.
And now you know.
And my mother would go, you keep making fun of me. You're going to have even bigger ones than me. And now I fucking do. Mm-hmm. And literally. But you know what I will say about my tits? They're big, but they're still perky. Yeah. Because no one sucked them dry yet. No child has like hung on them and swung on them. Yeah, but except Matt.
Hey, hold on. That's a big child.
He's huge. He's huge.
But I have children that suck and hung on mine. Yeah. And they went the opposite way.
Stop it.
Mine went.
Oh, really?
Deflation. Oh. I had Tom Brady's deflate game.
I'm literally. Stop this right now. And you didn't even get a ring.
Nothing.
You didn't even get a ring.
I got nothing.
Oh my God. But this lady got me this thing that like literally looks like a backpack. And then this thing sits in the middle of your tits and it separates your tits. So at night when you sleep on your side, it like separates your boobs so you don't get those wrinkles in between you. I swear, I'm going to show it to you.
Have a sling.
It's a titty sling. That my little Asian, so cute. I was like, she's like, everybody in China wears these. I'm like, what?
Because they're ahead of us in the aesthetic world. They already made tit slings.
Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine? Yeah, she gave it to me and I was like, I don't know whether I'm like grateful or I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck is this? But I wore it and it works.
You slapped her in the ass, didn't you?
I totally did. And I fingered her butthole and she was so excited. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you, Jean, for my titty sling if you're listening. Oh my God. I didn't know you could do that in there.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge age. It's called microtox.
So very different reconstitution, different injection technique. Yeah. Again, all based on art form and science and all of this stuff, right? So you can't just go take your 8-hour class and then think you can go and inject neurotoxin into someone's boob wrinkles. Yeah. Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
But this is what these people do. And then people like you get a bad name because they just lump everybody together. And it's like that in every fucking business, right?
Yeah.
All right. So neurotoxin. Now, what about filler? Because I've had filler. Remember I had a whole conversation with you about the filler?
Yes.
So I have an issue with, what do they put in it? It's cocaine. Is it cocaine? Is it the yayo? Yeah. What do they put in it that makes it not hurt?
Lidocaine, not cocaine.
I know, but it's a cane.
Yes, but we're not going to try to, melt it down. And,
you're not going to go to the Roxy after and listen to like fucking, I still believe in your eyes. Like roll your tits off?
No, I don't think so.
Damn. Yeah, so I have an allergy to like anything lidocaine, anything like that.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, you probably shouldn't. I probably shouldn't be banging rails anytime soon.
No, I don't think so.
I never got into that anyways. Thank God, because I'm already like this in real life. Can you imagine?
Your BBL is, your BBL is encapsulated, so we don't have to worry about
Thank God.
Yeah, your cocaine coming out your
I'm like a mule going across the fucking border. God. I don't shove it up my ass.
No, it's
just in my ass.
Encapsulated in your butt cheeks. We're all set.
So I'm like seriously, like it's not an allergy, but it's just, I guess it's a sensitivity.
Yeah.
So I had filler underneath my eyes where they created like a little porthole. Cannula. And they shoved the thing up there. You're going to explain this better.
That sounds awful.
And then as soon as they started pouring the stuff into my face.
Pouring it.
Just gallons of it. I was like,
tachycardia.
I'm like, I'm going to sit up for a second. And you know me, like, I'm a tough bitch and I don't like to say.
Vomit or shit myself.
Oh my God, both.
Yeah.
And then pass out. And then I was afraid that someone was going to like draw a dick on my face or like to put an actual dick on my mouth and like take pictures and like send it all over the world. Because this is how I think.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to have a tooth and I'm going to wear like
Mike Tyson's tattoo on your face. It's fine.
100%. So I was like, can I sit up? And then because I'd never had that reaction before, but then I thought when I have like a filling and they put the Novocaine in me, I get the same exact way, but it was a way different reaction than the Novocaine because it was like, I don't know why. Like, was it because it was in my face and not my bloodstream? I have no fucking clue. But I almost shit a purple Twinkie. So when you do some filler on me,
I can't wait.
Oh my God, I'm so afraid. Why am I such a pussy? I used to be so strong and tough.
I'm bringing a huge dildo though, so I can take pictures of it.
Can I like squeeze it while you put the stuff in my face?
If you want to.
And I'll whack myself in that.
Water snake.
Done.
I can't wait.
You guys, don't you want to just be with us right now and hang out? It's fucking fun. We should have like a cocktail time where like people come and watch us podcast and just have drinks. That would be so fun.
Probably. Matt, how many drunk people would be here?
I wouldn't even be able to fit them all in my house. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh.
So what do people have this like reaction sometimes? And why do they put the cane in the stuff?
Cocaine.
Why did I put crack? Why did I put that in it?
So lidocaine is to numb you from the inside out.
Okay.
So I topically numb, not for under it. The only thing I ever numb for is lips.
Okay. So you put like numbing cream on your lips, right?
Yeah.
Let that get all
juicy.
And then you do but when you use a cannula, you don't only do it for like when you're doing filler in the face. You don't use a cannula for lips.
You can.
Oh, really?
I don't like that.
That's not your jam. That's not your jam.
No, I'd rather use needlepoint there.
Got it.
I do use cannula a lot. It's safer.
Oh.
Because it's a blunt end straw, so you're less likely to pierce a vessel. And obviously, filler in a vessel is not a good
because that you can get an occlusion.
Correct.
And tell people what an occlusion is.
An occlusion is essentially like a heart attack, right? So filler gets into a vessel, the blood can't go past where that occlusion is.
Got it.
And then you have ischemia behind there.
That's so interesting.
So tissue death.
But this only happens, like, this is not like a thing that happens all the time.
No. Knock on
wood. No, you're the best. You're the best.
But it can
it's a freak thing. It's a freak thing.
It can happen to the best people in the world. It can happen to plastic surgeons.
Absolutely.
It can happen to anybody.
Right.
Even you can have false negatives when you go to pull back and you think that you're not in a vessel because the aesthetic needles are so small.
Got it.
You could be in a vessel
That's
and
so
not get a
interesting.
flash back. It depends on how long you pull back for.
Understood.
It depends on, is your needle primed or not primed?
Right.
Meaning, did you push filler through it already?
Yes.
Or, there's so many different scenarios that can happen. So could the best of the best get one?
Everybody.
Of course they could.
Right. Absolutely.
That's.
And what is the filler that you use and you love?
I use a ton of them. I like to use MERS products. So Radies, Bolatero.
But most people say Juvederm. Like, I'm getting Juvederm.
Yeah.
And you don't love that product. You love the other stuff. Isn't that so interesting?
Juvederm, Moviderm. That's what I
tell people why you call it that, though. And I've already asked this question.
I every time I see a Juvederm product, it's moved out of the place that someone has put it in.
So say someone gets their lips done with Juvederm.
Yeah.
This is when it migrates up to the top of the mouth and you get like that mustachy
look.
Yes.
It has to be dissolved and then you have to put it
Satan's piss.
Yeah, Satan's piss, exactly.
So you literally... So you've obviously dissolved other people's shit from other people.
Yep.
So people will come to you and say, hate the way my lips look.
Correct.
Dissolve this shit.
Yep.
And then you start kind of from scratch.
Yeah.
And when you dissolve it, you use Hylenex, which we also call Satan's piss.
Yes.
Which hurts like a motherfucker.
It does.
So don't fuck around. This is why I was watching The Real Housewives of, the OC.
Yeah.
And one of the women on there, Shannon Bedore, she had her whole face done, like so much shit. She must have just been having a moment.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just need all this. And it's hard because, I've had a television show, people pick on your looks, like the smallest little things that wouldn't even bother you that bothers like the people at home watching. So I understand. But some of the first couple episodes, they were dissolving her product in her face. And I was just thinking of you going like, oh my God, that fucking hurts so bad.
Yeah.
She looks like a different person. Her face... I know what she was going for. She wanted it to look like youthful, but it just made her face look like a big pillow face.
A pillow face.
It looks like the thing on Instagram where you can like make yourself look like Big Ange.
Yeah. Oh, the look.
Yeah. She's like, he went away for murder.
Yeah.
Let's buy me a puppy. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I can't.
It's like, oh, you don't ever want to fucking look like that, dude.
No. And adding volume into the wrong places. You don't want to expand the tissue in the wrong area.
Okay, tell me more about that.
When you dissolve it, that tissue is now expanded by that product. So then you're going to get saggy tissue.
No one wants fucking saggy tissue.
Ew.
What's up with that?
That's ugly.
Yeah, but just no one cares. They just in their minds, they think of like, I just want this. I just want it to be my face to be fixed or whatever.
Right. And then there's a difference between skin laxity.
Okay, what?
So skin laxity, right? That
sounds like a strip club.
Well,
skin laxity.
Skin laxity.
Oh, it's a 2-for-1.
Dreams come true.
Exactly. That's what I said.
I think it sounds like, I don't know, something that belongs on the foreskin of the penis.
That is, skin laxity.
Right?
Mm.
That's what I
love
think
to chew
of.
on that. My favorite.
Right? I don't know.
Yes.
so weird.
We're so creepy.
We are.
We're
There's
fucking
something wrong
weirdos.
with
Yeah,
us.
100%. Keep going.
Okay. So skin laxity is like the integrity of the skin.
Okay. So when you pull your skin, it bounces back.
Yes, yep. Exactly.
Okay.
So skin laxity, volume loss,
Yes.
all of those words, all of those things that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So people come in and say, I want my face to look like this.
Yeah.
And they pull it back.
Do you really, though? Do you really want your face to look like that?
So is that something that we can do in here, or do you really need a plastic surgeon?
Okay. And I love that you say this, too, because you're like, hey, I'm a magician.
Yeah.
But I'm not fucking David Copperfield over here.
There is only so much I can do.
Yes.
Like, yes, my hands are magical. Yes,
They
I can
are.
do some things. I cannot give you a full-blown facelift. That is
and
not
sometimes
my job.
when people want that look, but they start just filling and filling and filling and filling, it's like the worst look ever.
And you can overfill.
Oh, absolutely.
You can 110% overfill. And that looks like shit.
Horrible.
It's ugly.
Yes.
And I don't want to be the person that overfills anybody.
No.
And I hate, okay, here's my biggest
Tell
pet
me,
peeve.
please. I'm here for it.
Filling over somebody else's work.
Ooh.
I would rather, and I often say this to people, is if you're coming to me for lips, I am most likely going to tell you I'm going to dissolve whatever somebody has already done to you.
You're going to wait it out, because you can't just dissolve it on the same day and get filled.
No.
So you got to come in, we got to dissolve that product. You got to take a chill pill and then come back.
In about 2 weeks.
Okay. Oh, okay. So 2 weeks. That's not bad.
No.
They can
I
deal
don't
with it.
want to fill over somebody else's work.
Because then two different products can have two different reactions too.
Yeah,
they're not going to react to each other. But
right. It's not really even about that, but it's usually that I don't do things the same way somebody else does.
Yes.
And if it's in the wrong spot and I try to go over it, it's going to maybe even look worse.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to
deal with that shit.
No.
Understood.
I don't want to fill over somebody else's shitty work.
I love you.
I
agree with you, dude.
Yeah.
I agree. So between neurotoxin and filler, to all of the listeners out there, because we have listeners from every age, every walk of life, every ethnicity, like you name it, what would be like a couple of tips, like if someone is looking to, maybe they're a virgin, like they've never had anything done to their face, like what would be something that you would say to them?
So start small.
Okay.
Right? You don't have to walk in there and get a full face of anything.
Right.
You're not coming out looking like Kim Kardashian.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. And anyone that's telling you that, they're assholes.
Sucks. Yeah, they suck.
They're big
Come in
fucking
here, sit
assholes.
in my chair. I can make you look like Kim K. Well, me, you can't.
You cannot.
Sorry.
No, it would take, even if you had the same bone structure as Kim and everything else, it would take probably years. Because if you look at her face.
And Simon Orion.
Oh my God. Yeah. He's something else, man.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's wild. But if you look at her face from like Kim when she was hanging out with Paris Hilton with like their Juicy Couture outfits.
Yep.
And to now, I mean, it's not even the same person.
Not.
Which, by the way, I'm not talking shit about anybody. I'm not knocking anyone.
Of
like,
course.
I'm having you on my fucking podcast to talk about this shit.
Right.
I'm all about it. But when people, and I've heard people in your industry be like, oh yeah, you just come on in. We're going to give you the same lips as Kim Kardashian one side. And to me, that always felt like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't rush it. Don't rush your treatments.
Yes.
Right? Rome wasn't built in a day. Let things happen slowly, because that's how you're going to get the best results, even in the skincare world.
So you don't want people to have a butt crack lip like I had.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the butt crack lip?
Yes.
Dude, I have a crooked lower, like my bite is crooked, not my teeth, but my bite is crooked. So I went to my dentist and he was like, okay, well, if you want that to be fixed, we have to like break your fucking jaw and like put a palate expander on the top of your mouth. And I was like, or like, that sounds horrible.
Else.
He goes, he's Bostonian. He goes, go get your fucking lips done. And I was like, really?
Oh.
And I don't have thin lips.
Right.
But I don't have like massively large lips either. So I went to a doctor and he just filled my bottom lip, but not my top lip. And then I remember him filling it from the left side and from the right side. And then when I woke up the next, because you're really swollen when that first day.
Right.
Then like 2 days later, I went to like a pageant or something. I was like speaking and I literally had a butt for a lip. Like it was like a crack in the middle of my lip.
Crack kills.
Crack does kill. Crack is whack. As Whitney says, crack is whack.
I can't.
It was horrible. And of course I just let it go away on its own.
And
but and when I was a kid, I was like, 20, 5 years old, I was like, I look so fucking hot. Look at these DSLs. Don't you want a big blowjob?
Yeah. Look at them, baby.
Yeah. But now I would like, I look at pictures and I'm like, who were you?
What did I do?
What were you thinking, you dumb fucking bitch? You know? But that was probably just bad placement, and he wasn't thinking about balancing my upper and my lower lip. He just was like,
the ratios.
oh, you want to cover your teeth? Well, here's a butt for a lip.
I can't.
But so start small.
Start small.
What about pain?
I mean, suck it up.
Yeah.
Pain is beauty. I don't know. Right?
Can I just say this to you? And I'm not trying to like lick your pussy, but I will. Your hands are like so delicate, and I've never got injected by anyone that you don't hurt. Not even a smidge. You know how like when you're doing my neurotoxin, you're like, hey, little pinch.
Yeah.
Little pinch. I'm like, no, it's not a little pinch. This is nothing. Where before I would go and they would like put it, I felt like it was going into my bone and it would like crackle.
It's in the bone.
I was like, it's a little deep. It's a little deep.
Yeah.
And I would feel like crackle and crunch and all this stuff. And I'm like, this isn't normal. And then when I went to you, I was like, is this bitch even giving me anything? Because it doesn't hurt at all. You have the most gentle hands.
Yeah.
So if you do go to Kate.
I try.
Yeah, you do. But if you do go to Kate, just know, like, the pain, I've had a lot of stuff and you don't hurt.
Filler's obviously more painful.
Right.
Where it's, sometimes it has to go down onto the bone.
Yes.
Lips are obviously the most, I would say
they're just sensitive. Your lips are just really sensitive. There's a lot of blood. Yeah.
A lot of nerve endings in that area. Obviously,
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably one of the most pinchy areas. But
Amanda just got her cheeks done.
She did.
And she was like, she goes, just felt weird. Felt weird.
It is.
She's like, I'm not used to it, because she hasn't had it there before.
Yeah.
But she's like, and I looked at her the other day when I was like, damn, you look so fucking hot. And she's like, I know, it really looks good. But you don't know what you don't know until you have it. And you're just like, oh, my face just looks so much more refreshed, know?
And it's subtle.
It is subtle. And that's what I love about you too. You're not trying to make someone look like, Liza Minnelli.
Yeah, no. Nothing cray.
I love you.
Nothing cray.
So tell people where they can find you on Instagram, on the Facebook. Do people still use Facebook? I don't know.
I guess that's like one of the biggest things, but
really?
I don't know.
No.
I feel like IG is my biggest thing.
Yeah.
So Instagram, it's at FaceEnvyRx. So FACENVYRX.
We'll put it in the show notes too, so people can just click that link. And you also have a website.
I do. FaceEnvyRx.com.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Do you want to give any of the listeners any like a little hookup or something? If they
hit me up. Hit me up. I will give you. I'll do $100 off your first treatment.
Nice.
Any treatment you want.
That's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just do the neurotoxins and filler. You have a slew of stuff. But we wanted to really get down and dirty today and talk about that kind of stuff. So
there's a lot of things on there, but any treatment you pick from, I'll give you a discount.
Awesome. And then on Instagram, you guys can see like her before and afters. Like it's really, really, really dope. Thank you so much for coming on here and talking to the ladies and teaching me about Scrotox. Like that's something I could never get out of my fucking mind.
I know. Don't look it up.
Oh, I'm Googling it right after.
I can't.
I am Googling it right after. Oh my God. I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that even though we went a little 3D today and we were talking more about meat puppet stuff, it's good, because a lot of people, listen, even just because you're fucking spiritual and you're working on your shit doesn't mean you don't want to feel beautiful on the outside.
Right.
And I think a lot of spiritual people are like, who cares what you look like? Who cares? It's like, dude, come on. Like I want to be hot.
Right.
I want to look as hot as I can for as long as I can. Is that a fucking crime?
It's not a crime.
It's not a crime. I love you. Thank you so much.
Love you too, baby.
All right, guys. Listen, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of the Ambitchious Podcast. Go ahead and reach out to my girl, Katelyn. She's going to hook you up. And she also does virtual consultations as well. So you can get her on the Zoom or whatever you kids are using nowadays to chat and have that virtual consultation. So if you don't live in the surrounding areas of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, you can always get her virtually. I love each and every one of you, and don't forget to stay ambitious.